Well, hey you guys, welcome to another peach video. Been 70 degrees for about 4 days straight. The buds are blooming. We want to go look at all these trees on the same day, within the same hour, in the same city, and kind of show you how the different areas have responded to that heat. And the first tree we're going to be visiting today is the tree in our backyard. It's been 70 degrees for about 4 days straight, and it just made these peach blossoms bloom over here on this side of the tree and on this side of the tree. And so I thought this would be a good opportunity to talk a little bit about the different microclimates that occur in different locations. We talked a little bit about that in our last video, but I want to go a little bit more in depth on that today because that is a pretty big factor in what type of varieties you're planting and whether you can even reliably get peaches off your tree. We want to give you some hope though that it probably can work most of the time if we can understand a little bit more about how to find the right climate for these trees. So the first place we start is by getting a general idea what the temperatures do within our region, and we can find that on the USDA map. The map that we're looking for is called the hardiness zone map, and they've kind of zoned out different areas for their temperature averages. And like where we're at here in Utah, it's a 7A and a 7B in the area that we're at. It can dip as low as 0 to 10 degrees on low dips. And that doesn't mean that it's always that low, but that's just a warning to you that that's how low things can dip. Now with the modern technology, we have a great access to all that information. They let you type in your zip code and it'll zoom right into the area that you're at to give you a general idea of how much cold hardiness you're going to need. Then we kind of can look at some of the regions that can get warmer within those general regions. So one of those for Utah is up between a town called Brigham City and Ogden. And there's a few little towns in there, Perry and Willard. And that area is known as Utah's famous fruit highway. And part of the reason that grows such wonderful fruit and it has kind of a little bit of a warmer microclimate than a lot of the other regions in the area is because the Great Salt Lake is right there and almost acts like a little miniature ocean, keeps everything just a few degrees warmer in that region. And so the fruit really thrives in there. Up in Washington, where it can get cold in little snaps like that, some of those apple orchards in Wenatchee and Yakima Valley, they have what's called an orchard fan, and they have multiple orchard fans throughout. The purpose of those is to kind of keep the air moving and circulating, and it kind of keeps the warmer air that's a little bit higher mixing. And again, we're only talking 2 to 5 degrees that it's able to help it. But those few degrees make a big difference. They can have a bumper crop versus a total devastation of their crop. And before they got sophisticated with those fans, one of the things that they used to do in our region here on the Wasatch Front, they used to have these pots that they would burn in the orchard during a cold snap, and they would try to fill up the orchard up with smoke to help save the entire crop. Now, speaking of a few degrees making a difference, we've been talking about the general area, maybe a microclimate within that general area. We're going to zoom in even further and talk about this tree right here in a backyard. Over here we have blooms coming in on this tree, on this side of it. And over here, up a little bit higher and on this side of it, the blooms have not quite started yet, although they're close. They're not far behind. They might only be a day or two behind. That hot afternoon, evening sun hits that fence right there, and that fence starts becoming like an oven and emanating heat off it. And it just warms up this tree just a little bit more than usual. And so that's something that you can consider if you're in a cold climate. If you can position and plant your tree in an area that maybe warms it up just a few extra degrees, that might mean the difference between you being able to have your crop wiped out every year and you can't grow peaches and having a crop every year that you can rely on. So here we are down at the front of our farm. We're at our 5-year tree that we pruned. So we're kind of down in the bottom of the valley right here, both these places. That house is only about a mile down the main highway right here. And it's at roughly about the same elevation. You can see here that on this tree, some of the buds are swollen, but they're not as far along by a long shot compared to the tree that was just in our yard. They're coming. Maybe they're a week to a week and a half behind the other tree. Now here we are on the same area where that 5-year peach tree we just showed you was at. And this is an apricot tree. Can have a little bit of a different bloom period. Generally speaking, those peach trees are blooming in the same time period there, and that climate probably has a lot more to do with it than maybe the variety does. The one we just showed you, the 5-year, is a lemon Alberta tree, and the one at our house was an O. Henry tree. And the lemon Alberta is a mid-season peach, and the O. Henry is kind of a late season. But you can see that that O. Henry is already blooming before even that mid-season peach. So we're just over here now at a different place at the farm. It's about a half a mile away from that other field and tree I just showed you. The location of kind of these trees in this area, it's at the bottom of the valley here, and there's a lake right to our west here. We get kind of this real cold, frigid wind that comes off that lake real hard often. Now in some really bad years, it'll even knock out all the blossoms. So we'll just zoom in on one of these branches here real quick, and you can see where this little pack right here, where it had 2 buds and vegetative growth in the middle. That's kind of what some dead ones would look like. Here's some right over on this branch that are well and alive, and you see 2 peach blossoms there and the vegetative growth in the middle, and those ones are getting ready to come. This area doesn't do as well for peach. This is the last place we're going to visit. We're here at the old house at our little peach orchard up here. Boy, it's a lot warmer up here already. The farm is only about 1.5 miles away from us, down the hill a little bit, maybe by 50 feet of elevation. This particular spot is on the southwest kind of facing hill. It gets really nice heat. And if there's one thing the peach trees really like, they love heat. So we have this tree right here that is kind of up against the white brick of the house. And during that time of the day, the afternoon and the evening, even the morning, that brick is heating up like a nice brick oven where they cook pizza on it. This tree right here already has a whole bunch of blossoms that have already blossomed. And by the way, this variety of tree is an early Red Haven. So there's a few blossoms on that O. Henry first tree we showed you, the O. Henry tree. And this tree has a whole bunch of blossoms that have started and opened up. So let's just go over here real quick to this other little tree. And in the corner here, this is also an early Red Haven tree. None of them are opened yet, and they're getting ready to. They're going to be here soon too, but they might be a week away from opening up as big as that tree has opened up over by the brick. There's about probably 30, 35, 40 buds in this 12-inch to 16-inch span right here. And you'll notice that a lot of them are even double. They got 2 flowers on each spur coming off here with the vegetation. So we have a lot of peach that is developing. Each one of these is a potential peach, but it's not a peach yet. Because the weather is the way the weather is, sometimes we'll have those low dips come along, even in April. May even freeze off a few of these. We kind of want to let the flowers bloom out and not pre-thin them too much here. See what happens to the tree with the weather and the climate, because some of these will be small, some of them might be scarred from the frost injury, and some of them might end up dying. So we want to wait till maybe they are the size of a nickel is nice before we make our final thinning decisions. Now there's just one more thing I wanted to show you since we're up here at the old orchard. Now we have kind of this Japanese maple tree. It's shooting away from the house, kind of out towards these trees here. This is a Red Haven tree. I planted this tree 15 years ago. And when I planted it, the tree was straight up and down, because I remember we bought it from the nursery, really leaned out this way to get its full sunlight. It just shows you the microclimates, even within the microclimates. These other trees over here are just fine standing straight up, and just 10 feet away where this tree feels like there's shade and competition, it's like, I need my space. These trees are always fighting for the heat and the sunlight. And so if you can have a place that is a nice, warm, basky place for your peach tree, you're probably going to have success even if you're in a colder climate. Thank you guys for watching our videos. And if you found these helpful or enjoyed them, please consider subscribing or liking our videos. That would be very helpful to us. See you on the next one.